All right, this is a project I would really love for us all to be involved in. If you've never quilted before, this is a perfect opportunity. We're going to make a sampler quilt, and it's a fabulous place to start because you get an opportunity to try a variety of different stitches, putting different size pieces together and everything. It's really a fun project. Now probably, it has to be 15, 20 years ago, I took a course and this was the sampler quilt that I made. We were supposed to make just 6 panels, but I, of course, went crazy and made 9. Some of them I'm very happy with, 20 years later. I still like my Ohio Star. I think the color combination is really pretty. This was sort of my inspiration piece fabric, and I started pulling all of my colors out of it. Right down from there, this is called Card Trick. Again, I like this one. I think it's because I've used just few colors in each of these. The one in the middle here, this is Bear's Paw. I like that design very much. Notice I used a cream for my background in many of these. And straight ahead up above, this is called Patience Corner. This is the first block that we're going to make. And I want you to notice I have 4 different colors here with my cream in the center, green on the outside, one of my inspiration fabrics, and then a little accent. And my inspiration go vertical, my accent goes horizontal. I'm going to show you a variety of different samples so that you can start thinking about how you want your colors to go. This is the sampler quilt book that we used in this course. I don't know if they make it anymore, but if you could find it, it would be very helpful. It's the Sampler Quilt, and it's by Diana Leone. And just while you're up here close, right here is also the Patience Corner. And you can see it's done in 1, 2, 3 fabrics, but done completely different than mine. Now let's go over to the table here and we'll open the book up. I'll show you a couple others just to give you the idea. Let's see, I have them all tagged here. This is the one that I think is done very nicely. Here's Patience Corner. Can you see it? Again, there's 3 fabrics there, but they did all of their blocks the same way, added a dark and a light. I have another pretty one inside. It's a little smaller. It's kind of fun to see the variety. Notice they didn't use too many fabrics. Here's the Patience Corner right here. Again, they did the vertical and horizontal with the cream background. And I started analyzing the colors, again, because I was not happy with that original one that I did. But this quilt has 3 darks, 2 mediums, and 1 background color. So the next step was to think, all right, what fabrics am I going to use this time? I have to be a little bit smarter about it. I used too many on that, so I think it looks a little messy. So, right here, let's move that out of the way. This was the worksheet that we used when I was in class, and it worked out kind of nice. You need an outer border, an inner border, sashing, which are these little pieces that are in between the blocks that kind of hold them together, cornerstones, which are these little tiny squares. Then you need some other coordinating fabrics. Well, I picked this little polka dot, and I have a little yellow, and I have this little light print, and then of course I have what I'm going to use as my background again, the off-white. Well, I have them laying down here as well, and you can see this was my inspiration color. I love this fabric. I like the paisley design, but I also liked all the different colors that were in there. As you can see, then I started pulling fabrics from the colors that were in my inspiration piece. And as I've been pulling them together, I've realized that again, I have chosen too many fabrics. So I've been trying to eliminate. I took this little polka dot out, and I felt a little better about it. It looks a little calmer in here. And I will say I've been playing with different block designs, and at the moment I can't find a good use for this light one. So I may be eliminating down to about this number of fabrics: a background, my inspiration, a couple of darks, a medium, and a light. And I may be doing pretty well with that. So when you pick your fabrics out, the first thing you want to do is pre-wash them so that you get some of that starchiness out, and take them out of the dryer while they're still a little bit damp and iron them. Now the first thing I want to show you here is the Patience Corner. And what you have to do, and you know, look over in the website in the craft area, and I will show you all the dimensions and everything for this stuff. This is some template plastic, and I bought the kind this time with the grid on it. Now I want to show you the Patient's Corner pattern here in the book, but you won't need it because I will give you all the dimensions. Patient's Corner uses 3 different pieces, and when I put my template over the top of it, and with the grid it's wonderful because I need 1/4 inch, you know, seam allowance all the way around. And so of course I can just set the template material. I'll show you how that goes. Just take your template, give yourself that 1/4 inch all the way around, and then I would cut along here and up here, and I'd have my square template for that. And works out really great. Once you have your template pieces cut out, then you start playing around with your fabric swatches. And I will tell you, this happens to be what I have landed on. I think I'm going to use these 3 fabrics together. Still sort of playing around with the design. You know, whether they will be touching each other, whether they'll be opposite each other, but we're going to have some fun with this. So let's get the sewing machine together, and I'm going to show you how to put the pieces together. Well, the sewing machine is all set up, and you can see I have my block laid out. Now those of you with a keen eye might note that I had all long paisley strips and all short yellow strips, and now I have some long yellow strips and short paisley strips. Basically, I laid my pattern out and I was not happy with the way it looked, so I've altered it a little bit, cut out some of these pieces, changed things. This is the time to play with it. Now let's go put this together. This goes together in a block of 3 pieces. You always put the smallest pieces together first, so we will put the block against the small strip, and then we will add the larger yellow. So let's do that. And when you're putting your pieces together, you sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and to make sure I stay right in line with that, I have this, you know, blue tape comes in handy for all sorts of things, and so we're going to use it right here on the sewing machine. Now you probably should pin this, but I'm not going to. It's just kind of the way I am. The other thing about the 1/4 inch, it's very close to the edge of my presser foot here, so I can almost use that as a guide as well. So here we go. Let's make something happen. Okay, easy as that. And then we'll open this up. I like to push the seam towards the darker fabric so that we don't see that line. You can almost hand press this a little bit. And we will add our other piece. Bring it to the sewing machine. And away we go. Now I will just continue on by doing the other 3 squares, and then I'll show you how to put them all together. Alright, here we go. We have our 4 squares pulled together. All we need to do now is attach this one to this one, this one to this one, and then we'll put the 2 halves together. So, fold this over so we know what we're doing. Fold this over. Stitch in here. Okay. Now we'll open them up and see if we can figure out how to sew them together. Yes, do you see the square in there again that we were working on? Now we'll sew this panel to this panel. All the while, although it doesn't look like it, I am keeping in mind that I want my seams to lean towards the darker fabric. So as you can see, I have this one pushed towards the darker fabric, and as I stitch, I'm going to make sure that still happens. Alright, as you can see, we have our 4 little blocks put together to create our patient's corner. Now we want to iron it flat on the back, and you want to take a look again at the way that you have already determined that these seams will lay and iron over them that way. You can see this one's going towards the yellow, so I'll give that a little shot there. This one, of course, is going towards the darker. And the only one we really haven't determined is the center one, I think. Here we're going towards the darker. Press that down, give it a little shot of steam. Again, towards the dark. Come around to these others. All towards the dark again. I love ironing. When you're done, it looks so beautiful. Do this last one here. And then honestly, the center one, since we have lights and darks, you just have to pick a direction. Let's see if it'll go this way. Alright, let's flip her over. Oh, isn't that exciting? It's gorgeous. And that's our patient's corner. Now for those of you that are beginners, we're going to do a block every other month so that we can get our 6 blocks done in a year. That gives you plenty of time to play with your colors and put your blocks together. And so the next one will be 2 months from now. We're going to do the Ohio Star, so you can start thinking about that. Now for those of you that are interested in trying to do a 12 block with me, just keep checking back to the website, look under the craft area, and I'll post the block that I'm going to do. Otherwise, wait 2 months and we'll go ahead and do the Ohio Star, and I'll show you how that works. Have fun. Check the website out in crafts again for even more detail. How to select your fabrics, what type of fabric to select, how to look for good quality fabrics, etc., etc. It's going to be a fun project. Let's do it together.